It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Well, yes, we're joined this morning by Tony Ehrenreich, and just shortly we'll be chatting about how we as South Africans can stand united against xenophobia. But right now, let's take a quick reflection on what happened yesterday at the Union Buildings as it was D-Day for Carolyn Steyn and her nitwits of the 67 blankets for Nelson Mandela Day, attempting to break a world record. So we sent in our cameras to give you a glimpse of the proceedings yesterday and also what the campaign means to so many South Africans out there.
The Union Buildings was a true reflection of the Rainbow Nation as tens of thousands of handmade blankets were stitched together in an attempt to break a world record.
We're only just over a year old, and this is such a milestone, and we've reached so many in the past year. I mean, we won Campaign of the Year just after 9 months of being in existence, and now this, who would have imagined? So it's just phenomenal as far as the eye can see in every direction. Blankets, stitch by stitch, we are keeping Madiba's legacy alive.
This demonstrates the goodness of South Africans, that they can knit for somebody else to enjoy the warmth in the difficult cold months of June and July. This is part of the Mandela Day initiative, and we're hoping that this will be one of the biggest executions right at the beginning, even before we get to Mandela Day on the 18th of July.
It's an act of social cohesion in action, where creativity, artistic ability of our people coming together, knitting together. We are people who believe in Ubuntu. We believe in sharing with other people, and therefore we have to denounce what is happening in our country and say this is not us, this is not South Africa.
In spite of the recent xenophobic attacks, which has left the country reeling, the record attempt brought people from all walks of life together and was a refreshing reminder of unity.
Well, this adjudication is incredibly special, as it's lots of communities have been brought together by this attempt. People within high schools, within young offender institutions and prisons, and lots of communities who otherwise might not have been working together have been brought together to weave an enormous blanket and hopefully get into the Guinness World Records book.
We were given a challenge at first to make 1,000. But I think we made more than 1,000 stitches, so we didn't make 1,000 blankets, but that was okay. And it was just lovely to see everyone from different backgrounds. The athletes who were getting involved, the academics, the culturals, everyone was just getting involved, and I think that was the spirit of the youth was incredible.
As the enormous blanket grew beneath the statue of Madiba, everyone reflected on his legacy of forgiveness and reconciliation at a time when it is needed most.
Every day should be a Mandela Day, and it's not like today is any exception, but it is an exception because we're just brought to remember the good. You know, I've been looking up at his statue and looking up at the smile on his face, and as he stands over watching everybody, I mean, I just think this is what he wanted, and I just think something like this can only make his dream become more of a reality every single day.
He taught us that we've got to work together, and people came together and worked together to come up with this biggest blanket ever in the world.
It's really a call to action for everybody to play their part and make a difference in South Africa, whether by being role models or in whatever area that they are in. Just make a difference. Do not turn a blind eye. Do not look the other way. Just look at every situation and say, how can I contribute? How can I play my part to make sure I'm contributing positively as an active citizen?
National pride overflowed as it became official that 67 blankets for Mandela Day had created the world's largest blanket. Madiba would be proud.
A truly heartwarming story to show what can be done when we stand together. And speaking of which, no greater time has there been for us to all stand together, not only as South Africans, but also with our foreign brothers and sisters to say no to xenophobia. We're joined this morning by the Western Cape COSATU's Provincial Secretary, Tony Ehrenreich, to tell us about what COSATU has been saying, or at least from COSATU's point of view, what the response has been to this xenophobia that's happening right now and these violent acts that are being perpetrated against our foreign brothers and sisters.
Well, I think firstly we must say that this is a minority in our country. South Africa is not xenophobic.
Yes.
As a nation, we reach out to our brothers and sisters, we understand our common history, and we know that our destiny is tied together and we have to cooperate. So we've got to deal with the society with this minority, with this brutal, thuggish gang behavior, And that's got to be the response to the problem. But at the broader level, we've got to appreciate that there are other challenges that feeds into this, and so we've got to have a comprehensive response.
Yeah.
But we've got to call for calm, we've got to make sure that leaders act responsibly, and that what we do is bring our people closer together at this difficult time and not push them further apart.
Yeah. And perhaps in sharing your viewpoint of exactly all of these challenges that contribute to this, where would you say the xenophobia emanates from?
There's no doubt that there's a level of contest for resources in the society generally, and people are lashing out. Those who are unemployed and impoverished are lashing out at other poor people, and they're seeing them as the other from other countries, and that's the source of the conflict. But that really shouldn't be our response. One of the big challenges in South Africa is that we are a fairly impoverished society, but the huge levels of inequality means that we don't distribute our resources fairly. And in some perverse way, the problem is between those who benefited under apartheid and those who were disadvantaged under apartheid. And we've got to close that gap, because that gap is going to see rich and poor and white and black fight soon.
Yeah.
It's manifesting itself in poor against poor, and that's got to be undone. So it's responding to the systemic challenges in our society that ensures we bring our people together, but we must build a more equal society that gives everyone an opportunity for prosperity.
Yeah. And what do you think the public can do, and what can civil society do, in pursuit of that kind of goal that we're looking for to stop what's happening right now?
The only solution is to bring our people together as a nation, is to respond as a society and to respond with empathy. But we all have a role to play in that. That means that we've got to ensure that we come together, that we understand our history, we understand what our ambitions and our futures are, and we start to work together on that. That is a bit more than just putting up posters. It's about talking to each other, it's about educating each other, and it's about understanding that unless we appreciate what it is that brings us together, that we're not going to be able to overcome that. So this event that's taking place tonight, initiated by COSATU, is led by the Archbishop of Cape Town, Archbishop Makgoba, and he'll be uniting all religious communities and other organizations, including organizations of our foreign brothers and sisters who will be part of that event, to show that we are one, that in the main we're united, we want to address these challenges together, and there's no place for violence as a response to the challenges that exist in our country.
Yeah, that's fantastic news, and thank you very much for bringing that to us, and we hope that many, many Cape Townians and people who are able to will be attending tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So if you wish to take part in the Civil Society Anti-Xenophobia Rally, it's happening at the Cape Town City Hall tonight at 6 p.m. We'll also have those details on our Expresso Morning Show SABC3 Facebook page. Ewan, over to you.